Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well and I hope you're staying safe and healthy and that you're finding ways to feel connected even during this weird time. Please remember that if you have any questions, you could reach out to me via email or via Carmen inbox, or we can set up a Zoom appointment to chat in person or just face to face if you think that would be helpful. So don't hesitate to do that. So a few tips on reading Shakespeare. So when we read Shakespeare, when we look at it, it can often feel very overwhelming and very inaccessible, the language, because it feels older than what we're used to. It feels more complicated than what we're used to. But if you really dig into it, the language is actually fairly similar to contemporary English. My biggest clue that I can give you, or hint I can give you, is to take your time with the language. Use context clues when you feel confused. Read around what you're reading in that moment to see if your understanding of other parts of the text can inform the piece of text that you're feeling confused about. Also, don't be afraid to turn to online resources if necessary. While you absolutely must read the entire play in its original language by yourself, you can see what other scholars have written about the play in order to check that you're understanding it correctly, okay? But if you reference any of these other scholars in your assignments, you must cite them properly, okay? So, again, take your time, use the expertise or reference the expertise of other people to maybe help you understand it better. But again, if you are using somebody else's ideas or language to inform your understanding, you must cite them properly. But do your very, very, very best to see if you can figure it out on your own by reading slowly and through context clues first before you turn to other resources. Also, another thing to remember is that Shakespeare largely wrote in a rhythmic pattern called iambic pentameter, which you're learning about this week in your lectures, okay? So if you read phrases out loud and in some kind of semblance of iambic pentameter, as you'll learn about, you should naturally emphasize certain parts of the text, which can help you understand the meaning better. Okay, so see if maybe reading it out loud in a kind of rhythm helps you feel like, oh, that word is coming to the surface, so maybe that's more important. Maybe that can help me understand this better, okay? But maybe most importantly, I want to end by saying it's okay if you don't like Shakespeare or if you don't find it particularly interesting, although you still need to do the assignments. Just like a little secret, I don't like Shakespeare that much, and it's okay. I'm still in the theater. I still am able to work with people, okay? People often say that Shakespeare is universal, which can cause some pressure that we need to feel connected to it in some way, but I encourage you to remain skeptical of the idea that anything can be completely universal. To say that something is universal is to say that there's a generally singular human experience. Although Shakespeare touches on common feelings like anger, love, vengeance, fear, he cannot and does not speak for every person of every demographic and across all times. The world is a very different place for people of different genders, races, religions, abilities, sexualities, and so on. And so to assume that one person can speak for all of them is deeply limiting. So it's okay if you don't feel deeply connected to Shakespeare. He's a big deal because some people throughout time, often those in a position of power, has said that he is. That doesn't mean that he has to be a big deal for you or for me, okay? But you still need to do the assignments. Have a good week.